Hi, the marquee tools are indispensable for my work, and in this lecture I hope to show you how valuable they are. There are 4 in total, but everybody uses the first 2, the rectangular marquee and the elliptical one. The other 2 are useless and pointless. In this lecture we'll talk about the first one. Its hotkey is M. Click and drag and you'll have a rectangular selection. Do that again and a new selection will appear. To deselect, use Ctrl D. In the options bar, you'll notice 4 icons and one of them is active. Let's explore them one by one. This is the normal mode that creates a new selection every time you drag. The second one, when used, will automatically add to your selection no matter where you draw on your canvas. It can be next to it or it can be somewhere completely unrelated. You'll notice you're on the second mode by checking out your cursor. Here's the normal one, and here's the Add to Selection mode. My advice is to keep it at its default setting and use your hotkeys to go through these modes as you need them. Shift adds to your selection so it temporarily activates the second mode. As you can see, my cursor has a plus symbol next to it. The third icon removes parts of your selection and its hotkey is Alt. Notice the minus symbol on your cursor. The final mode is Intersect, and this is rarely used. Its hotkey is both Alt and Shift, and you recognize it through this X symbol. This removes every part of your selection except this intersection. The idea is that you can create lots of intricate selections with it, but in reality, few people use it. Moving on, you can see the size of your selection while you drag. W stands for width and H for height. So if you know you want a 300 by 400 pixel selection, you could use it like that. It requires a bit of tinkering, but it does the job. Note that if you have the marquee selected and you click inside and drag, you'll be able to reposition it, but that only happens if you're inside the selection. Another setting from the options bar worth noting is fixed ratio. For example, 1:1 will make it a perfect square. If you want to achieve the same result, simply hold Shift while dragging. Please note an important difference. Click, drag and hold Shift will give you a perfect square. Hold Shift, click and drag will enable the second mode that adds to your selection. Let me say that again. If you click first, then add Shift, you'll constrain its aspect ratio and you'll get a square. If you hold down the modifier key, in this case Shift, you'll change the marquee mode to this second one, which adds to your existing selection. This applies to Alt as well. Click, drag and hold Alt and your selection will expand on all sides. If I move to the left, the selection will grow to the right at the same time. Finally, if you click, drag and hold both Alt and Shift, you'll grow your selection uniformly, starting from where you clicked. I'll attach a cheat sheet because I know you'll need it. It's hard to get, but there's quite a few cases, so I like to help with various aids whenever possible. Fixed size is useful when you want to input some specific values. Simply click and that will create a selection based on your input. So if I put 100 by 100 and click, it will give me just that. This is great for those cases where you want extra precision, but again, I recommend you keep the style set at normal. Finally, I want you to remember this essential point. If you click and drag but don't let go and you press the spacebar key, you'll be able to freely reposition it on the canvas. That's going to prove useful in just a few minutes. Note that you have to keep the spacebar down, otherwise it won't work. And that's the rectangular marquee tool. Note that when you try to do the same things to a smart object, a shape layer or a text layer, you'll see these techniques won't work in the same way. All these selections must be made on rasterized layers. Okay, with that out of the way, let's continue.